Hello and welcome back to Factor Y. Last episode we finished off level 4 research. So in between episodes I completed a couple of research items to get us something to work on today. The first things I did was I did some bonuses. So on the right hand side of the screen here you can see I have 110% solar power now, so solar power has an extra 10% boost to it. So that's very beneficial. Burners produce an extra 30% power, so that's really great. And then 95% mine is a little deceiving. That is referring to mining time. So it reduces the amount of time it takes to mine ore. That's not quite super useful right now. It changed these from 128 to 121. So 7 ticks. It's not really good enough. These only operate, they can only keep up with ones at 128. So anything below that we wouldn't be able to mine anyway unless we put 2 arms per miner, which there's not a strong enough bonus right now to do that. So for future we'll either put better arms on there once we get the bonuses up there, or we'll put 2 arms per miner. And I've also been plugging away at the solar farm. I now have 1,500-ish solar panels, so quite a lot. We have 9G storage of batteries. I don't know what that is, but it's been holding up pretty well. You can see right now we're using 106,000 energy and we're creating 131,000. So this is going to go way up to like 200,000 that we're creating once the solar power kicks in. It's only at 20% right now. So the battery power I've been watching, it hasn't drained more than halfway, so let's just keep an eye on it and make sure the battery power stays to get us through the night. And then the other thing I did was I was tired of waiting for research, so I added this up here. This is just a level 1 research farm. I created these modules to try out the new belts system. It works okay. It's not quite as fast as just putting them directly on the map, but it's close enough. This one does it at 135. Whereas if they were directly on the map, I could do it at 128, but it's close enough to make it easier to copy. I can show you what's inside here. It's just these 2 machines and some arms and the belts. So nothing to it really, but it does work out pretty well. You can just run the belt right next to the module here, and it takes the items in with a splitter and sticks them right on the belt, so we don't have to do arms anymore. So that's nice. So then the last research I did before I started this episode was the space research. It took 10,000 level 1 research. This is why I built this, so I could speed that along. So research has been slowly ticking away. Doesn't take too long now, but it still takes a good amount of time. So let's look at the new recipes. We have the space shuttle tab here. We can build lots of stuff now. We have the launch pad, which requires a ton of stuff: 1,000 rods, 100 gears, 1,000 stone bricks, and 100 cables. The landing zone, which is where, so this is how we launch rockets. This is where they land. 1,000 stone bricks for landing zone. And then we have cargo ship 1, which is only 100 ships, 100 computers, and 30 motors. So that's not too bad. It does use fuel. These level 2 cargo ships we can't build yet because we don't have titanium on this planet. I believe we do have it on a moon. We'll check that in a second. But it requires 5,000 titanium plates. So quite large. And then finally this colonizer ship, which is I'm assuming how we send to a new planet to claim the planet. But it requires 1,000 ships, 1,000 computers, and 1,000 motors. So all substantial builds. And if you click on this one here, this is rocket fuel that we've unlocked. It takes 40 coal, 4 rods, and 4 screws to make 1 rocket fuel. Creates a thermal energy of 5 million, so I'm wondering if we can actually burn that in our burners, if it'll last longer, so maybe that's something we'll try. But I think the best course of action is to leave our mall and research area alone and build another whole separate supply line somewhere over here probably to build rocket parts and rocket ships. The research area here that we have, I've started a base down here Just put a couple rows of furnaces in for now. We have some big patches, so we could pull a second, maybe even a third mining row off of these if we have to. Power is becoming crazy though. We are 150,000. Right now we're supplying 320, so it's not too bad. But the battery's still charging for the day. So anyways, I'm going to just start a bus, I guess. And I'm going to just start putting a line for each item. So we'll start with the launch pad. I'm just going to try to build one of each so I can see how they work and decide. I'll try to leave room for expansion, so if we decide we want, I'm assuming we'll want more cargo ships than launch pads and landing zones. But we'll just do one of each for now. So 1,000 rods, 100 gears, 1,000 stone bricks, and 1,000 or 100 cable. This is right here, so this will be rods. I can only support 12 assemblers of iron off of each mining row, so I have to be wary of that, so I'm just going to do 4 for now. This is Mark II assembler, so even though it says 256, I think it does it in half that speed, which would be 128. So rods will come over to here, and then we'll need basically the same setup here. This way I can just expand down if need be. I'll leave a couple spaces. We're just going to do 2 for now. This was gears, right? I guess we could look at it real quick again. Yep, gears and cables. So gears will go here. We only need 100 cable or 100 gears compared to the 1,000 rods, so we don't need too many of these. We probably need a lot more of these though. So there we go. So we can just copy these down that way. If we decide we want to expand it more, we can make more. And I'll just run these lines down here and put a assembler somewhere down here. And this will be making landing pads. And we'll put a provider chest on it and limit it to 1 just for now till we see what we need. So it looks something like this. We have 4 rods, 2 gears, 2 wires, which is really not enough, but it's really going to wait on the stone bricks and the rods because I need 1,000 of those compared to 100. So the problem I'm having though is this. You can only load so many items at a time, so I could do 3. I could probably wrap this around, add 1 more 4th here and 4th here, but I'm going to have to go back to the research here. There is this item stacking research here. There is this stacking research here. It requires 30,000 RT1s, 5,000 RT2s, so quite a substantial investment. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that. We're going to have to expand our research capabilities quite a bit before we tackle that one. So I'll probably just pick another one for now. Of course, they're all getting up there more expensive. This one's 7,000, 5,000, 10,000, so they're all getting up there. So next up will be landing pads. That'll be easy. It's just 1,000 stone, so we'll just get that set up. And then we'll start working on, I guess, the cargo ship. Chips, computers, and motors, and chips, computers, and motors. So that's what will be up next. We'll be set up this quick assembly up here just to make landing pads. Again, it's limited to 1 per item, so it's just enough to get us going. If we find we need more, we'll make a bigger setup for it. And then computers, motors, and chips are next. I'm going to do a little side track here, and I built this. This is iron being smelted, rods and screws into a rocket fuel assembler. Got some coal being processed into rocket fuel. So I've got, looks like 3 or 4 rocket fuel up here. I'm going to see if I can burn this. I would suspect I can because it's listed as thermal energy. But we're about to find out. Yes, we can. 5 million energy. That's amazing. So we could make another burner set up for power and really jump up our power. 5 million, I'd have to calculate that out, but that will last a long time. Smelt speed of 200, so I'll do some calculations and be right back. If I'm doing my math correctly, which I'm probably not, this Mark III burner here can smelt speed of 400. I think I can supply 12 of these off of one rocket fuel assembly. So I'm going to do a little experiment and put 12 of these down and see if they keep powered all the time. If they do, I will build a much bigger power plant using these. These put out 520 energy per burner. So we're going to delete this one, copy this up, and I will put 12 of them there and we'll let it run for a while and see what happens. Alright, let's get back to getting the cargo ships built. I think we'll start with, we're going to just make some assembly units, keep it simple. We're going to do some modules just because I think they'll be easier, even though I'm still convinced they're not quite as fast as putting them directly on the map. I'll prove it to you in a minute, but let's do a new module. Let's do one for, I guess let's do chips first. Do assembly units too. So this one will be making chips. That needs iron and wire, so this one will need wire. This makes 2 wire every 512. This needs 1 wire every 256, so that's perfectly matched up. And let's just grab some, let's see, the 256 would be, we could probably get away with these. Actually, I keep forgetting the Mark II recipes. Like for instance, when I hover over this one, it says 256, but because it's Mark II, it's actually 128. So we're going to need the faster arms to do. So this will be iron, this will be copper, wire, and chips out. So we can just put it on these output belts and bring it in on input belts. I think we're going to set this module up to do 100 at a time, and we'll set it to run more often, but 100 at a time would be 100 iron plates. So let's set this to 100 iron plates, and this would need 100 chips, which is 50 copper plates. Let's do 50 here. And then we can see that this operates at 128 100 times, so that'd be 12,800 ticks. But we gotta wait a little bit extra because this takes 512 to, actually makes 256 to make it. So 12,800 plus 256 is like 13,100 plus an extra 100 to get this arm to bring the materials in to start it. So let's try 13,200 ticks. So we're going to go to modular ticks here, 13,200, let it do its thing. It shows it accepted 99, so we're not quite there. So modular ticks, let's do 13,250 and restart the simulation. And there you go, 100 chips accepted. So that should be good there. We can, so let's set a divisor. Let's see, this is 100, this is 50, so I guess we could divide it by 10. So that means it'll operate, instead of bringing 100 chips in, it'll bring 10 chips in and then operate. So we have to make sure it's divisible by both this. It will round them, but it will round up or down, so it might not get the 100 chips out of it that we're looking for. So let's set the divisor of 10. Let's go ahead and modularize this. Let's call it chips. I guess I'll call it MK2, even though it's not Mark II chips, it's Mark II assemblers, but hopefully I'll remember that. Hit enter. Now when we go to our modules here, if I hover over this, it shows it needs 10 iron plates, 5 copper plates. It's because I set it to 100 divided by 10. So that's 10 chips. Sorry, I'm going to try to get and then 5 copper plates, and it'll make 10 chips. So you can see it takes 1,325 ticks. If I were doing this in the map, not as a module, I could get that down to 128 instead of 132. So it's only 4 ticks difference, but 4 ticks over times 1,000 ends up being 4,000 ticks difference. So 4,000 ticks difference is about a minute or two. So not the end of the world, but it is faster to build directly on the map than with modules. But it's much easier to just go like this, copy this down, put that there for now. Let's move this out of the way. Now I can just move this, rotate it. It's much easier to move stuff around as a module. And let's see, we need 2 rows coming in, 1, 2, so I can just throw it here, and it's super easy now just to copy it down. That'll make 20 chips, this will make 30 chips. And we should see it working pretty soon here. It'll light up and it works. Just gotta wait for the iron to get here. Helps if I connect it. But this will load up 10 iron, and then it'll start working on the chips. And it'll actually load up more than that so that it can buffer up, so that's good. It won't have to wait to load up the next one. But then it should spit out 10 chips here. Let's check it out in a minute. It's going to take 21 seconds to create the 10 chips. So we will see if this works, and there they come now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chips. Yep. So there you go. Super easy to. Let's do a quick module for computers. We use Mark II assemblers. These 2 bottom ones will be making wire. This will be making cable. This will be making computers. So it needs 4 wires, so that'll be, I think we can get away with one of these for this, but then we'll need the Mark II arms because 1 copper plate makes 2 wires, so it'll have to move them twice as fast. And this will make cables. That'll go into there, and then we'll bring in chips from the outside, iron plates from the outside, and this will put the computer chips out, or the computers out, I should say. So then we just need belts for these. This is an output. These 2 are inputs. And then we just have to decide how many we want to do. So this operates at 5, whatever it is, 528 or whatever half of 1024 is. 512. So this operates at 512. And if we do, let's say 100 of them, let's just go with 100, make it easy. So 100 of them would be, we would need, chips are coming from the outside, so chips, 100 would be 200 chips. So let's set this to be chips. And 200. So that's 200 chips. Iron is needed at 2 iron plates as well, so that would be 200 of these. This is already set to iron, we just need to cap it at 200. And then wire, it needs 4 wire. So 400 wire. This makes 2 wire, so 400 divided by 2 is 200. So we need 100 copper plates. think that's correct. 100, we'll test it in a second here. And I believe this would be the same. 100. Now it's running its simulation, but we got to calculate how many out it was again. So this was 512 times 100 is 51,200. 51,200. So let's just enter that number so I don't forget it. 51,200. Let's see if it makes 100 chips here, or 100 computers. Only made 50. Why did it only make 50? My numbers are off somewhere. 100 would be 200 chips, so that's why I'm bringing in 200 chips. It only used half the chips, half the iron. It used all the copper, so I calculated the copper wrong. So this must have to be 200. And this must be 200 as well. So let's restart that. Let it run its course. 50, 60, 70, 80, 96 computers. So that means we just need to add some extra time onto it. So what did I put it at? 51.2. Let's try 52,000. Restart it. Looks like we're going to end up with 98 computers. So adjust it some more. This is just because it takes time to initially get the first cable made and the first wire made. So I could probably calculate it out, but it's just as easy to do. 52. Let's do 53,000. Restart the simulation. $70, $80, $90, $100 computers, perfect. So this is 200. This is 200. They're all 200, so we could actually divide it by, I don't know, we could divide it by 20. That would be 10, I think. Let's try 20. Modularize it. Let's call it computers MK2. It created. We can go check it now. And it says it makes 5 computers. Needs 10 iron chips, 20 copper plates, 10 iron plates, 10 chips. So it looks like, yeah, because it was making 100 computers, so I've divided by 20, so it'll crank out 5 at a time. 42 seconds to make that, or 2,650 ticks, so good enough. So I put the module down. I think what we'll do is we'll reverse this belt here. By reverse, I have to delete it, rotate it, and stick it back in. But we'll move these up to here. I'll leave it level 1 for now, I guess. I don't know. And this will be copper coming down. We're going to have to skip a space so that we can put crossings in. So this will be iron here, chips here. Let's just so this would be, it's hard to see that's chips, so this is wire. So this is not going to work because I can't split this. It'll send stuff here and here. Unless we put crossings in, I guess I could do that. Because like if I split this, it's going to want to put some on this belt here. So I either have to give them a space, or I could put crossings in, which looks kind of silly, but See the chips. I'll try and see. I'm not thrilled with this setup. I might change it, but so chips here. I'll delete that. See, that's why it's not going to work. So I got to put another crossing here. I'd have to put crossings everywhere. It looks kind of ridiculous. And this would be a belt out. These two would be belts in. This would be much simpler when there's just one. I'm just setting this up real quick to see how it works. We'll probably change it around, but so, and this would have to be, I don't know if this will work. Let's see, can we do a merger here? Yeah, I think that would work. Is it operating? It is working, so I guess we'll find out in 42 seconds. I don't like this, so I'm probably going to have to change this around because this looks crazy. It's hard to tell what's going on and what's going where. It'd probably be easier to just put a space in there. We got plenty of space on the map, so it makes no sense to crush them in there like that. But there's computers coming out, so it is working. Alright, that looks a little better. The modules definitely make it super clear. It's super easy to find where you're making stuff. Like I can tell I'm making chips here, computers here. So I love that part of it. I love how they light up when they're working and gray when they're not. So good stuff. This episode's run a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it here. We'll finish building the space stuff and hopefully launch a spaceship next episode. So that'll do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.